If I take you for a ride, push myself into your mind when you least expect it, you try and reject it. If I'm in charge, and I treat you like a child. Give me that, do as I say. Give me that and let me have my way. I'll give you love, I hit you like a truck. I'll give you love, I'll teach you how to. I'd like to put you in a trance. Erotic, put your hands all over my body. All over me.
Hey guys, how's it going? I hope you're having an awesome Thanksgiving weekend. If you live in Canada, it is Thanksgiving Sunday, and I'm getting a little erotic right now. I'm listening to Erotica by Madonna for the very first time. I'm going on my Madonna journey, listening to her whole discography for the very first time, and we have arrived at the 90s. I recently listened to I'm Breathless, her little jazz-inspired album from the movie Dick Tracy, and I moved on to the Immaculate Collection, Justify My Love, and here we are at Erotica from 1992. The only tracks I have heard off this record are Erotica. All the other ones are brand new to me. I'm so excited. I have heard great things about this record. Apparently, it is a hidden gem from Madonna. It isn't appreciated enough. Apparently, that's what a lot of you have said. It's kind of shoved in the background, and a lot of people don't really praise this album as much as her other notable records like Ray of Light and Like a Prayer. So I'm gonna get into it. I'm so excited. It's late at night right now. I felt this was the best opportunity to film a video for Erotica. I just couldn't imagine filming a first listen to Erotica during broad daylight, like I usually do for my first listen videos. So I'm really excited to get into it. That was track number 1, Erotica. Probably the sexiest song I have ever heard. And I remember hearing the song when I was a kid, and it's one of those songs where you start to listen to it, especially when you're a kid, and it's a song that you feel like you should be listening to it, you know? It's almost like the forbidden fruit. It's an adult song. I should be listening to it. I'm just a kid. This is very scandalous. It's very sexy. It's not for me. I should turn it off right away, but I didn't turn it off. And I loved it from the first time I heard it. It's so sexy. It's sex in your ear, an eargasm, as I should say. And it's so hot, and it's so steamy, and I'm just thinking some unnatural thoughts right now. Anyway, so now let's move on to track number 2, Fever. Okay, so that was track number 2, Fever, and just like Erotica, I was definitely feeling that song. I was in some sort of trance. I'm finding it very difficult to read the lyrics to these songs as I'm listening to them. That is what I usually do when I do these first listen videos, is I read the lyrics, but I just can't keep my eyes on the screen. My eyes are elsewhere. My mind is elsewhere. I'm just letting these sexy songs take over my body. Heat and sexuality, I imagine those 2 words right there are going to encompass each and every single one of these songs, and I am so looking forward to it. Fever, 2 thumbs up for me. I loved it. So now let's move on to track number 3, Bye Bye Baby. Okay, so that was track number 3, Bye Bye Baby, and this is probably my favorite track on the record so far. I love it. I love the voice she uses in this song. It's very diva, it's very sassy, it's very animated, and I love it. I love the beat. The beats in these songs is what's getting me. It's what's, the thumping in my ears, it's the thumping in my heart, it's what's making me gyrate, it's what's making me, thrust my pelvis under the table, and I love it so far. 3 for 3, I'm loving this record. Bye Bye Baby, again, 2 thumbs up from me. So now let's move on to track number 4, Deeper and Deeper. Okay, and that was track number 4, Deeper and Deeper. Yes, yes, yes. I love that song so much, and it does sound familiar, I will say that. I probably have heard this song before. Like I said, it's very familiar, especially the chorus. I don't know where I heard it, probably somewhere way back when in my teenage years, childhood. It just rings a bell. So I do believe I heard the song before, but at the same time, it sounds very new to me because if I had heard it, it was a long time ago. So Deeper, Deeper, this is my favorite track on the record. Oh, I don't know what to say, honestly. It's just these songs are just taking over my body. It's just fueling me with something so invigorating, and it's a very beautiful feeling. It's freedom and it's empowering, and I feel like I could just be anything, Just who cares about everyone else? I'm just gonna be me. And I feel like Madonna is giving me that permission. And I love it. So now let's move on to track number 5, Where Life Begins. Nothing better than eating out. Don't say it. She said it. She fucking said it. Okay, so that was track number 5, Where Life Begins. Where does life begin? Eating out. We all know the metaphors there. I don't need to explain them to you. I love the Colonel Sanders reference. Finger licking good. I mean, that's probably my favorite Madonna lyric ever. I mean, let's be real here. Oh, this is definitely probably the steamiest song on the record so far, in my opinion. No, nothing held back, and it's just sex. This whole album, but this song in particular, just makes me fucking horny. So that was track number 5, Where Life Begins, and I love it. So that's that, and we'll move on to track number 6, Bad Girl. Okay, and that was track number 6, Bad Girl. And this was a nice little ballad of sorts from Madonna for the Erotica album. And I enjoyed it. Though it's not my favorite track on the record, I still enjoy it. I still love it. And it's still a beautiful song. It fits in with the rest of the album. And she's essentially speaking about being a bad girl, perhaps a little bit of cheating on the side, being a little bit of a bad girl, kissing a stranger's lips, and seeking dark corners with people she doesn't know for a little hanky-panky. It can be interpreted in many different ways. I'm sure we've all been there. We might be there right now. We might in the future. Maybe we were there in the past, but we all go through phases of just not giving a shit and going against authority. Some of us do it more than others. Some of us routinely do it. And it does feel amazing when it does happen sometimes. At least it does for me, being a little bit of a bad boy. You know, it's boring being a good boy all the time, so why not unleash your bad boy side once in a while, regardless of how old you get. I don't know what I said there. I'm so sorry. Anyway, so back to business. Track number 7, Waiting. And I will say, I'm wearing handcuffs in case you didn't notice by this time in the video, but yes, I am wearing handcuffs. They come with a little key. I don't need the key though because it has a security lock. Anyway, they are getting a little uncomfortable, I will say. They kind of just like keep rubbing around my wrists here, but I am determined to keep them on the whole video. 1 hour and 15 minutes. I think this is Madonna's longest album so far on my Madonna journey. I don't think any of her albums before this reached the 1 hour mark, let alone 1 hour and 15 minutes. So that's a nice surprise. Most of these tracks are at least 5 minutes. And I feel each and every one of those minutes, each and every one of those seconds. So now let's move on to track number 7, Waiting. and that was track number 7, Waiting. And this was another song I really enjoyed, and I'm coming to realize as I go deeper and deeper into this album that with each listen of these songs, I feel like it's a bit of an experience. I will say that. I mean, each of these tracks is about 5 to 6 minutes or somewhere in between that. And it's an experience I go on. It's art almost, you know. It's, you know, with her other albums and her songs, they were all pop and they were all very, I would say mainstream, but you know, they were very chart worthy. You know, they were very worthy of the Billboard charts, and you could hear them on the radio, and you kind of knew what to expect going into them. Whereas these songs, it's like I have to wait until the midway point until I can fully visualize the song. You know, in the beginning stages of the songs, it's like I'm kind of warming up to it, I'm kind of getting into it, I don't really know what to expect, and then once I get to the midway point, it's just full-on acceleration until the end, and it's a very interesting experience. I mean, I feel like this is her most artistic album that I've listened to so far, and these aren't songs you would necessarily hear on the radio. These aren't songs you would see chart on the Billboard, which is unfortunate, but they're very... I go on an experience listening to these songs. I'll just leave it at that. It's an experience. Anyway, so now let's move on to track number 8, Thief of Hearts. Bitch. Bitch. Fucking bitch. Oh, my body's so warm. Okay, and that was track number 8, Thief of Hearts. I don't know, guys, this is a pretty bomb record. Oh, my body's so warm, and these songs, Thief of Hearts, Bitch. I mean, what is there to say about this song? It's another great song, and I was feeling it. It was awesome, amazing. I mean, I'm just gonna keep praising. I'm just gonna keep praising this record, and it's so... I mean, this isn't a record you ever really hear, especially in this day and age. I mean, records like this just aren't made back then or now, and I don't know, like, I haven't listened to a lot of records in my life compared to probably some of you, but I haven't listened to an album like this before. I mean, yes, there were other albums by Madonna, like True Blue and Like a Prayer. Those albums are always going to be very iconic, and those are going to be albums we will never hear again, but especially this record, I mean, how many artists today would have the balls to put out an album called Erotica? I'm trying to think of the artists today who would put out a collection of songs as personal and freed and sexual and empowering as this record, and I don't know who could do it. Honestly, I don't know who could do it. I mean, I could name names, but even they probably couldn't live up to what this album is, and it's a fantastic record, and I love it so far. So now we will move on to track number 9, Words. Okay, and that was track number 9, Words. Another good song, but this is probably my least favorite track on the record. And though I enjoyed it, obviously, it's to me probably the weakest song on the record. I didn't really care for it. This probably isn't a song I would really go back to, unfortunately. It had to happen. I mean, no album's perfect. I mean, some of you watching probably enjoy this song, but I really didn't care for it. But yeah, that's my opinion on the song. Anyway, so now let's move on to track number 10. Wow, 10. 10 tracks. Raid. Okay, so I may be overreacting, but this has to be one of my favorite tracks on the record. If not, dare I say it, my favorite? Oh my god, I love this song so much. Oh, I love it, I love it, I love it. Probably one of my, I mean, I'm gonna classify this as a ballad, and it's probably one of my favorite Madonna ballads. Oh, oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, I'm gonna be listening to this song on repeat. Oh, oh, oh. Okay, that's a little much. Okay, I was getting a little excited there, but honestly, oh, Raid, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, I love it. Okay. I mean, how can I go on now? I just love that song so much. Anyway, I have to go on because there are 4 tracks left. Okay, track number 11. Why is it so hard? Well, that's what she said. Okay, and that was track number 11. Why is it so hard? Another great track. I enjoyed. This is my favorite track on Erotica. No, and as I started listening to it at about the halfway point, I was thinking, you know what, this doesn't really fit in with Erotica. Lyrically, it just didn't really make sense to me. But then as I continued listening to it, and near the end, I was thinking, you know what, this album, I mean, going into this album, I just thought it would be about sex and, you know, just like the title suggests, erotica, but there's a deeper meaning to that word. And when people think of erotica, they think of 50 Shades of Grey or some kinky shit. But there's definitely an underlying message I'm picking up about just freedom and just being who you are, which is something Madonna constantly preaches. And why is it so hard? In particular, the song, it's about acceptance and accepting people for who they are, accepting people whether they're different from you or they might have different tastes in you or interests or what have you. It's just accepting people for who they are. And like I said, this album is about acceptance. It's about letting yourself be free, which is kind of what I'm doing right now. Just kind of not caring what people are going to say or how people are going to judge me when they see me dressed like this, shirtless, with handcuffs and moving around, gyrating. I honestly don't give a fuck. It's about being genuine to myself and doing what I want to do that will make me feel human and myself and authentic. And that is what I love about Madonna, is that she is constantly preaching that, and I really do enjoy the song. So yes, I will say it does fit in with the album. So now let's move on to track number 12, In This Life.
Sitting on a park bench, thinking about a friend of mine. He was only 23, gone before he had his time. Gonna have to ask myself what more. Gonna have to ask myself what more. Have you ever watched your best friend die? What more? Have you ever watched a grown man cry? Then rather turn the other way. What more? And wait for this thing to go away. What more? Why do we have to pretend? What more? Someday I pray it will end. I hope it's in this lifetime.
And that was track number 12, In This Life. And I picked up pretty quickly, just from reading the lyrics and listening to the song itself, that this song is about the AIDS crisis. I mean, that's what I picked up from listening to the song and reading the lyrics. And the AIDS crisis, which kind of blew up in the 80s. And the song, well, this album in particular, came out in 1992. So I imagine during that time, it was very difficult for a lot of people who were losing friends left and right to AIDS. People were dying everywhere. I mean, it was bad, 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 bad. I wasn't alive in the 80s, but I watched this movie on HBO. I forget the year it came out, but I watched it. It's called And the Band Played On. I think it's based on a book. And I watched this movie from HBO. I definitely suggest watching it. It's very informative, especially for someone like myself who didn't really know anything about the AIDS crisis or AIDS in general. It was very eye opening to me for someone like myself who wasn't alive during the 80s. And it was very shocking to see how many people were actually died and how serious it was. And this kind of made me a bit emotional because obviously there is the stigma with, AIDS and the LGBTQ community, and it's very difficult. It's a very touchy subject for a lot of people. And I want to know from you who are watching right now, if you lived during the 80s, if you were around, and if you were kind of in the hub of what was happening. Was it affecting your life? Was it affecting you in a very serious way? Were a lot of your friends affected, or did you know a lot of people? What was it like during that time? Because I don't know. All I can do is watch movies and read about it, but it's not the same as living through it. So I would definitely like to know. And obviously, it touched very deeply with Madonna because she decided to write a song about it. And it is a very personal song to her and to me as well. Like I said, I wasn't around during that time, but like I said, there is the stigma with the LGBTQ community, so that I guess that's why it kind of hits me a little harder than the average person. So, anyway, that was track number 12. And so now let's move on to track number 13. Did you do it?
Tick, tick, tock. Mo was on the jock. I did her in the limo as we went around the block. Sucked the bull on the hip, lift the lipstick off her lip. She got real excited, though she started to flip. She says, "Pretty baby, great baby, oh." I said, "Just relax, and yo, chill, Mo. You know I did it. Did you do it? You know I did it. Did you do it? You know I did it. I let the secret run and I hit it. Did you do it? I said I did it. Did you do it? I said I did it. But I backed out quick because I thought I split it.
Oh.
Holes in the front for the 1990s. Walking around showing off their honeys. Wiggling and jiggling and swinging and swinging. 970, you hold your phone's ringing. You get a call from your John. You meet him at the moat. He's chilling in a pamper and a fur coat. Your head starts spinning. You drink too much gin. It ain't all about walking on the streets no more. Here's another episode of dropping off a load. Peter was on the Peter. I was about to explode. I couldn't hold back. I took her to a place. Yo, did she sit on your face? It was so good. It's like a Campbell soup. I did, oh honey, get them legs parted.
Oh, yes.
Did you do it? You know I did it. Did you do it? You know I did it. Did you do it? But I backed out quick because I thought I split it. Oh my God. A couple different styles, a couple different flows. Just some episodes about some girls I know. I gotta hit it hard because I go for the gusto and the cover of the bones by turning up my stereo. Did you do it?
Okay, so that was track number 13. Did you do it? I loved it. A lot of fun. Probably the most fun I have had listening to a track on Erotica. I love the lyrics. So douchey. So fucking fun. I mean, I loved it. And it's kind of a fun way to almost wrap up this record, and it's a very 90s song. I mean, it reminds me of like Marky Mark and like Vanilla Ice and all that. And yeah, I loved it. It was a lot of fun. Anyway, so now let's move on to track number 14, the last track on the record, Secret Garden. Okay, guys, so that was track number 14, Secret Garden, the final track on the record, and another solid track. I enjoyed it. Great way to wrap up this Erotica record, and I have thoughts. I have thoughts. Wow. This album is so good, and it's probably one of my favorite Madonna records so far. And after I'm done listening to all her records for the first time, I will be ranking them based on my own personal preference, not what I think is the best or the worst. You know, I'm not a music critic. I'm just going to rank them based on my own personal preference, and Erotica is probably gonna sit up on the top of the list. I really enjoyed this record. This record's art, and it has such a deeper meaning than what the title implies. Erotica, sex, you know, kinky, slutty, you know, whatever. I mean, it has such a deeper underlining message that I didn't expect, and I'm always surprised when I listen to these Madonna albums because you think it's going to be one thing, which it is, but then it kind of does a 360 and kind of flips the album on its head, and you're like, whoa, like that's what happened when I listened to like a prayer. And, you know, I wasn't expecting some of the songs on this record, you know, and I should have known. It's a Madonna record, you know, expect the unexpected. And I'm excited to watch the music videos. I haven't seen many Madonna music videos. I've seen a couple here and there. But I'm excited to listen to the music videos for this album. And I love this record. I mean, I can see myself playing these songs all the time. And I can only imagine how many people had sex to this album. I mean, millions of people, let's be real here. And I can really appreciate this record. I love it so much. And there's so many great tracks on here, especially Rain. I love Rain so much. I want to listen to it right now for a second time. Anyway, so that was that. That was Erotica by Madonna. I had so much fun. This video was so different for me to film. I mean, this is the first listen video I've ever done at nighttime, and it was so exciting, and I had a lot of fun doing it. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy watching. What's your favorite track on Erotica? What's your impression of Erotica? From my understanding, it's not a Madonna record that people tend to go to, or apparently it's very undervalued, which after listening to it, it's such a solid album. I don't know why people don't appreciate it more. It's a great record. What's your favorite song on this record? Do you have any stories? Maybe you grew up, maybe you were around when this album came out. I was around when this album came out, but I was a very small baby. So yeah, what was it like when Erotica burst onto the scene? What was the music landscape like? What was Madonna like, you know? What was it like? Maybe you're at the clubs and the bar. I mean, what was that like when this album came out? I mean, the stories, must be endless. Anyway, so thanks for watching, guys. You can find me on Instagram, you can find me on Twitter. Shoot me a message, leave a comment, what album should I check out next? I'm always open to any artist from any decade. And yeah, I will see you next time.